a while now, but maybe I'm just not clear, or maybe my words are too cryptic, or, the message just flew over somebody's head. So I had to roll kind of hard just to remind folks, I'm not with that whole, love and light fluffy bunny stuff when it comes to, hardcore work that needs to be done. There's nothing pretty about this. Okay? This isn't about beautiful decorated altars. Okay? And rose quartz crystals and nice pretty statues and, gorgeous crystal chalices and all that kind of stuff. No. This has nothing to do with that. When you talk about being a warrior for your people against a known enemy, that's not this. This involves dealing with dirt, getting your hands dirty, getting your body dirty, getting your spaces dirty. Okay? We're dealing with the earth here. We're dealing with fire, with blood, with bone, with feather, with flesh. Okay? We're dealing with fangs and talons here. There is nothing pretty about it. Someone replied to my comment referring to me as a goddess of the dark, and I had to laugh because I am no such thing. I'm just a realist. I take what my spirits show me and I act accordingly. But that is not to say that my way of doing things should be everyone's way of doing things. If this is not your way to get down, doing the work that you feel called to do, then do the work you feel called to do, but make sure that you understand your target. If you resonate in love and light, turn it towards the victims, turn it towards the vulnerable, turn it towards the defenseless, the hopeless. Because we need that, and we need you. But for those of us who have other visions and other tactics, strategies, goals, plans, and so forth, who don't have a problem walking into the environment of the enemy, let us go and do what we need to do. Because your way is not our way. We're dealing with pure, unadulterated, personified evil here. There's a saying that most of you may be familiar with: as above, so below. And what that means is anything that you see being played out in the physical realm has a spiritual component associated with it. Now, a good example of what that is, or how it can be illustrated, is that recent shooting that happened where a white police officer shot an unarmed black man who was a behavioral therapist who was dealing with his autistic adult client outside of a group home. The client had a toy truck, I believe. And so the behavioral therapist was out there trying to get him to, come back inside. Somebody saw them, called the police, and said that someone had a gun. White police officer rolls up on the scene. The therapist, and there is video footage of this, the therapist is lying on his front, on the ground, his hands up. Okay, hands up, don't shoot. The police officer shoots him anyway. The wound was not fatal. So the black man was able to ask this white cop, "Sir, why did you shoot me?" The white cop responded, "I don't know." I don't know. Ponder that for a moment and consider what took place after. They tried to spin this story, and instead of making it better, they made it worse. They said that the police officer shot the black man accidentally. He really intended to kill the autistic man with the toy. Those are their words. They intended to kill the autistic man with the toy. Now, if you've been following these stories, as I have, it will be shown that the police across the country have a huge problem dealing with the most vulnerable of our communities, and that is adults and teenagers, and in some cases even pre-teenagers with mental disabilities, particularly those of color, particularly black Americans with mental disabilities. They have a bad track record at using lethal force against people who need to be dealt with by mental health professionals. So this set off a whole nother shitstorm. But let's get back to the fact that the white cop shot an unarmed black man who survived his wound and was able to have the wherewithal to ask, "Why did you shoot me?" And the response he got was, "I don't know." Now, you can easily turn a blind eye to the spiritual implication of such an incident. Most probably will. But there's a number of us who see it for what it is. As above, so below. This is absolutely a manifestation of the spiritual nature that is consuming the minds of these white police officers who shoot us, wound us, maim us, and kill us, and for most times with impunity. That is state-sanctioned violence. And they do it with the full support and backing of their superiors, their departments, the Fraternal Order of Police, their communities, and basically the country at large. The justifications are enough to make your mind boggled. It's frustrating to see. But once you've seen it, at some point, enough is enough. They're showing you over and over and over again that they have no regard for you or anyone that looks like you. This goes beyond to simple they just hate us because they're racist. It's deeper than that. But if you are not willing to accept this truth, your actions will be ineffective in your efforts of trying to combat it. Working with ancestral spirits, particularly the more fiery ones, is not something for everyone to do. You always hear me talk about honor your ancestors for yourselves, okay? So that you can establish a personal relationship with your own bloodline spirits to improve your lives in any manner that they need to be improved. But this is different, okay? This is not for everybody to do. So a question is, well, what if I inadvertently call up one of those types of spirits or one of those ancestors who is fiery, who is vengeful, who is wrathful? and I'm not prepared to deal with them. What can I do? One thing that you can do is get with me on the private for a spiritual consultation. Visit my website, www.mamaru.com, and hit me up for a reading or spiritual consultation. But I'll tell you right now, you can filter those spirits yourself. Speak out to them when you go before your ancestral altar or shrine, and let them know that you're only here for the cooler natured spirits. You let the fiery ones just move on along and let you be, because you are not ready for that energy on this day. Offer them some cool water, offer them some milk if you want. In my personal experience, when my spirits get a little bit too active and it becomes like herding cats around here, I cool them down with milk or buttermilk. That's what works for me. Try that and see if it might work for you. Okay? If you happen to be tapping in to those kinds of energies and you feel that they are too much for you. But for the spiritual warriors out there, if this is what you feel inclined to do, if this is what you feel aligned to do, I'm going to need you to contact me privately. Send me a message, contact@mamaru.com. Because, like I said before, this is not a new thing. This has been going on since the first ancestor stepped foot from Africa on this land. And the people need us spiritual warriors. They need these ancestral warriors. We need to tribe up. We need to get blacktivated. That's right. We need to come together and do what needs to be done. So if you feel that this is your calling, and you are a person without fear, if you have the strength and the resolve, the bravery and the courage to fight against this manifestation of evil personified as police brutality against unarmed black people in this land, this charge is for you. Reach out to like-minded people. That's all I have for today. Thank you for listening. And as always, I'm wishing you love, peace, and powerful juju. Until next time.